To create our dream life, we must let go of who we thought we were to then wire in and let in who we actually came here to be. This is exactly when I look to my own journey to see how I bridged the reality for me doing what I was doing, of working that 9-to-5 job back in 2017 to doing what I love now full time. The biggest difference that I can look at to see that what I had to do is I had to let go of my beliefs about myself. I had to let go of my self-image, who I believed I was. I had to let go of my attachments, whether that was an attachment to the job, attachment to the people that I was hanging around, attachment to the habits that I had. I had to let go of all of those to then simply let in that which was natural for me, that which was more in alignment with the highest vibrational me. And even now, as I look at my life and things are beginning to change even more, I'm letting go of the version of Aaron that was just making YouTube videos and by letting go of that. Even it's interesting, before this episode even started, sitting here for like 10, 15, 20 minutes thinking to myself, like, what could I talk about that I haven't already shared in like 2,000 YouTube videos that have gone on the YouTube channel? And I literally wrote in my iPad, like, news stories. It literally says news stories. I wrote down like 8 news stories of things that have happened in the last couple of weeks that I haven't shared before, because there's times on YouTube or just in creating content in general, it becomes a challenge to always come up with new stuff. Or always come up with new stories. I have like my core story, not the horror story, the core story with the whole ex-stepmom thing, bridging and healing my pain of the past, going through my spiritual awakening, but then going full-time on YouTube. And beyond that, there's little things that happen in my life that I can share. And I think what I'm letting go of too is my own belief, my own story, that some story that I share has to be some crazy monumental shift for it to be something that I do share. But anyways, I'm letting go of the YouTuber version of me and realizing that there's a legit guilt that I feel when I'm not making a YouTube video or when I'm not making content. I think because the saving grace for me back in 2017 was I started making daily videos, and that was my saving grace out of my reality of selling women's shoes. But before that even happened, I had to let go of the version of me and the perspective that I had around having a 9-to-5 job, because I got safety from that 9-to-5 job and I was afraid to leave it, believe it or not, even though I knew I wasn't passionate about it. I waited 6 months to quit that job, and I probably could have quit after 3 months, because if I would have just, it's like if you have a block up, you won't see opportunities and things that could actually reflect back to you like an opportunity out. But for 6 months, I was making videos. 2 or 3 videos started to go viral. My channel started to pick up. And if I would have known what I know now, I would have gone full-time in like weeks, with like 5,000 subs or less. But I didn't know. So it took a while for me to get synchronicity to say, oh, I can do this. But before that, and during that time, I realized that I didn't want to make the same rash decision that I made back in 2012. So there was a fear. There's like this mechanism that was there that was keeping me from actually quitting until I was extremely secure and sure that I would make it. Because back in 2012, I worked at Nordstrom's in women's shoes, and I went through a spiritual awakening, and I became very ungrounded. I was convinced, and there were millions of people all over the world that thought this. It's funny, my best friend Victor Odo, him and I, we met on YouTube, but also, we found out that both in 2012, we each in our own ways were convinced that the whole planet was going to ascend into a new level of consciousness. And I went through an extreme amount of transformation, but also there was a lot of pain that went with that. Some of that pain was literally feeling very alone in the spiritual awakening process. I had family and friends that thought I went crazy. And in a way, I was very ungrounded, so I see where they got that perspective. In a moment, I went vegan, and it was like I lost all this weight and started looking very like I was on drugs or something when I wasn't. I was on nothing. I was just meditating like 8 to 10 hours a day. No, not that much. I was meditating a lot, though. I was doing a lot of mantras and stuff. I was like in the sun laying all the time. And eventually, I quit my job working at Nordstrom's because it got in the way of my global meditations on Sunday that I was a part of trying to help by like just, I wasn't having a YouTube channel or anything back then. I just wanted to go and meditate. And it was funny. I was working at Nordstrom's and I would cross the street and go to the Trump Hotel and I would meditate in the grass there. And that was my Sunday. And if I had a customer, I would like have to leave the customer or try to find a way to close it up quick with the customer so I could go at 3:00 p.m. every Sunday to do this global meditation thing so the planet could ascend into a new level of consciousness. Now, what happened though is there were some things that shifted at work where that one manager got fired that was very similar to my ex-stepmom. She's very controlling, very manipulative. If you guys have heard my story, then you kind of know about that already, or I shared that. But there was a new manager that came in that was also like very similar in a little bit different way. But basically he was corrupt. It was all politics. He actually had a crush on me and he didn't like the fact that I told him I wasn't gay. So he, because he kept trying to like hit on me over and over again and I got uncomfortable. I'm like, dude, please stop. And then he started retaliating and was like giving me a bad schedule and it became this whole thing. Basically, I said, screw this all. And I quit on a whim. And I went through months of like not having a job. I was resisting even being in the 3D world. That's how ungrounded I became. And I spent like 6 months not doing anything and just meditating and waiting to ascend into a higher level of consciousness. And there was a lot of pain that came with that. I was so resistant to getting back integrated into the 3D reality that I even went so far as like I lived with my mom, and she had a husband at the time that she ended up divorcing because he saw how crazy all this spiritual awakening stuff was and he couldn't hang with it. So my mom, my sister, and I moved into something called Emerald Suites, which are like these really not necessarily safe, kind of like a budget suites, kind of ghetto. A lot of people that were there were on either doing drugs or it's a place you go that you pay weekly for. It's all furnished and everything, but there's these little like 1-bedroom apartments. I slept on the floor there. And I was so resistant to getting a job that I remember telling like my dad and other people, like, I will live at fucking Sunset Park before I'll get a job again. And that's how resistant I was to going back into 3D reality. So from that situation, I had such a level of ungroundedness. And eventually what happened is I had to actually, I know I've told this story before, so I'm sorry for those of you that have heard it and are like, oh, it's still, you said you didn't want to get to do this at the beginning of the episode and now you're doing it. But I had this like 80-year-old lady that I met through somebody, just through the phone. She did this kinesiology muscle testing thing where you could muscle test your subconscious mind for truths, like true or false. And she was able to like pinpoint this heart wall that I had put up when I was 20 years old or 21 years old from a girlfriend that I broke up with. There was like all these things and she was so accurate. She just had this chart that she would go through and she would tell me the answer to these things. And I was like, wow, these are so accurate. And then one question I asked her was, does Spirit want me to get a job? Am I meant to have a 3D job again? And she got a strong yes. And I was like, no. I was like, okay, let me ask it again. And I asked it in like 8 different ways. And every time she's like, no, they're pretty clear. I'm getting yes, I'm getting yes, I'm getting yes. I'm like, ah. So I then decided to go back into the workforce, become grounded. I actually moved back in with my dad, and then he helped me get back on my feet and like bought me a suit and stuff. And then I started working and applied at Barney's New York and got the job within literally a day that I applied for it. It was crazy how synchronous it was there, but there was so much pain that was involved with the ungroundedness of that. And that even after I was on YouTube and my channel started to grow, I was afraid to quit because if I quit, maybe I'll fail again, I'll be embarrassed, and I'll have like, I'll lose all my friends and family. They'll think I'm weird again because I'm making these law of attraction videos, which, by the way, law of attraction videos and videos on some of these esoteric concepts is very common now. Back in 2017, there weren't many people doing it. And so talking about this stuff was kind of out there. There'd be, which I think was a benefit to me honestly, because there was less, I guess, like videos out there on it, so it was more desired. But in general, I had to let go of the 9-to-5 job-going version of me, and even the 9-to-5 version of me that was like more grounded in society now, that wasn't so weird, And as I began to let go of that version of me, I then began to naturally feel inclined and like empowered to be the version of me that was making daily videos on YouTube. So It's a process of letting go and wiring in. And if I were to sum up, by the way, transformation and my whole channel, all my teachings into two main ideas, it would be to let go and wire in. That's it. The letting go is about the awareness of the identity, your past, the labels, the attachments, the people that you're connected to. That's all on autopilot. You will find that how you think, feel, and act is on autopilot. And to let go of that, you have to let go of the reasoning and the identification that you have with those things. So now even like I look to this last year or two, one of the main pieces of like inner work that I've done is on the whole nice guy thing, letting go of that version of me to then wire in a new version of me that isn't just so nice. Now, when you hear nice guy, understand that being a nice guy is a shadow. Being a people pleaser is a shadow. And it stems from a lot of times childhood wounding where something happened in the past and we felt like we had to change our sense of self, or we didn't feel safe in our own frame, in our own sense of self. So we started tuning to others. And if we could just get their validation, then we could feel safe. If we get our parents' validation when we were kids, then we could feel safe. And normally this is also a rejection wound, a rejection or abandonment wound as kids, either emotional abandonment or physical abandonment, but we think there's something wrong with us. It's also rooted in a degree of shame. I'm broken. Shame means I'm broken. There's a belief there that says there's something wrong with me and I'm broken. Well, I had that, and my dad has that, still has it to this day. My dad is the nicest guy in the world. It's funny, he's got like this compartmentalization where he loves what he does. He's extremely good at what he does. He's a fire investigator, and he's very masculine in that area of his life, but in every other area of his life, it's more of that kind of that loss of frame and always doing things for other people. And I can tell that it's caused a lot of pain for him because he attracted my ex-stepmom, who is a narcissist. And there was this big story, this big identity that I had around being similar to my dad. And because of that, though, it caused my relationships to not have polarity because I would change my center of gravity based upon my partner and their energy. And what I had to learn how to do is I had to learn how to bring my energy back so I could be in my masculine frame so that the feminine could relax and also respect the masculine. And as I became aware and more of the shadow, I realized that the nice guy is extraordinarily manipulative. People pleasers are extraordinarily manipulative. They just don't know it. And that's because the idea is that it's an exchange. If I can be nice to you, if I cannot give you attention, then you're going to like me. But the thing is that's not actually authentic. I had to confront and look at the old version of me. I had to let go of the nice guy, Aaron, and I also had to heal the shame and realize I'm not broken. There's no broken part of me. A lot of that, too, was rooted in the emotional unavailability that I experienced when I was a kid. Realizing that my mom's and dad's shit growing up, that was their stuff, not mine. It didn't mean I was broken. Like my parents didn't divorce because I was broken or there's something wrong that I did. And as kids, we internalize everything. So letting go of the nice guy version of me and being this new version of me that sits in tension, has conversations that sometimes aren't easy. Over this last year, I've had a lot of very, conversations that don't necessarily feel good to have, but it does afterwards because I feel like, oh, I actually was authentic in this situation. And it's interesting because my life has completely transformed since I've been more in my own frame. But what was the biggest change there? The biggest change was that I started to see myself not as the nice guy. I had to let go of that. And I had to let go of the payoffs that I got from that. And I had to reframe it. Anything we do is because there's some type of payoff. The payoff for being nice or being a people pleaser is that if I'm this way, it mitigates tension for other people. If you ask me to do something and I say no, I'm so empathic that I can feel that your disappointment is there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say yes, even though it's not authentic for me, so that you don't get disappointed because I identify with your emotions and your emotions are my emotions. But you see, that's not actually true and it's not actually authentic. So the thing that I had to let go of was the payoff of feeling the sense of validation that would come from others because I was being nice or being a people pleaser. And once I started to let go of that payoff and I started to honestly have like a harsh wake-up call where I realized, you know what, this isn't authentic. It is not authentic for me to say yes to things I really don't want to do. And I went through like probably a 3 to 6 month period where I was actually angry at my past self. I was like angry and I was like establishing boundaries with people and in different ways. And it was like this resistant energy. And I had to like eventually have compassion for the past version of me that allowed that to happen. But really what this is it's a change in values. People that are people pleasers, let's look at this as, by the way, this will change your life, what I'm about to share with you right now, okay? It just like downloaded into my consciousness and here it goes, and I think that this will really change your perspective on a lot of things. Our sense of identity is based in values and virtues. So as a people pleaser, as a nice guy, as a 9-to-5 job goer, there are different values there than somebody that's running their own business, that's authentic, and that isn't afraid to lay down some tension if the occasion arises. It's a different set of values. When I was working that 9-to-5 job, what were my values? My values were being told what to do by other people. Like, these are subconscious values sometimes too, by the way. I valued safety. I valued comfortability. I valued that I knew I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, that I would go and be able to go on my lunch break every day and listen to YouTube videos. I valued my 2 weeks of vacation time. Like, it's a different level of initiative that comes when you start taking your own initiative. So that was something that I had to become very comfortable with, was understanding and being harsh with my reality that I was being too complacent and too comfortable. And that I was attached to the safety that I got from that job. Now, one thing that didn't happen though, is I began to wake up and I began to experience a lot of pain where the payoffs weren't paying off like they used to. The pain was I went into work and I got in trouble for saying the word belly button, told if I ever said it again, I get fired immediately. There's a whole story behind that I've shared many times before. And it's a stupid thing that us and coworkers would do just to lighten up the mood, is say belly button randomly in sentences when people's mind don't pick it up. And these customers we were helping while I was selling women's shoes were like really high-end customers. You know, they're buying an $800 pair of shoes. So it was just kind of funny to do. I do it to other managers and stuff. It was fun and light. I got other people in the department to do it. I didn't get them to do it. They just decided to catch on to this bandwagon. I created a pendulum around this idea. And somebody took it too far and put in someone's email header, belly button, and guess what happened? That person sent an email to the store manager, and then he brought her to the office, like, why did you say belly button in your footer? And then we all got called in the office, and it was apparent someone did that, and it came off of cyberbullying or like some type of bullying when it really wasn't. It was just this fun thing. Everyone thought I did it because I started it, but I didn't. No one called each other. It was an interesting thing. Anyways, I also got pulled into the office and talked down to for like 10 minutes where they were making me watch a video of me on my phone for 10 minutes in the back stock room when someone else was on the floor taking care of the floor. I mean, working in retail, there were sometimes hours with no customers. You just stand on a sales floor. You're not allowed to be on your phone on the sales floor, and you'd be on the sales floor for like 2 hours with not one customer. You're just standing there. It's a good meditation practice. Sometimes we get bored. We take turns. One person would be on the sales floor. There's no customers, so what difference does it make? And then I would go in the back and be on my phone, and then we'd take turns. Well, guess what? One time they brought me up to the office, and I'm looking for 10 minutes at myself on the phone, and they wanted me to watch the whole 10 minutes. So I'm sitting there in silence with them as I scroll through Instagram. You can see what I'm looking at on Instagram, and I'm watching it with the store manager and the department manager and the HR lady. And it was so degrading that in that moment, I decided that I am not going to work for somebody. There'll be a time in a short period of time where I will never work for somebody else again like this. I will work for myself. My values then began to change because I started to get pain. Pain helps, you know. I was talking to somebody recently that I know that has like this amazing, you know, a bit like this ability to really create amazing things with wood. And I know that this person has the potential to like do that full time, to make a lot of money with it, but they're learning to believe in themselves. Well, recently they said that their check from the government got cut. So the comfortability is no longer there of getting that check every week or 2 weeks. So now they have to figure it out. Well, guess what? Now they're figuring it out. That was actually a beneficial thing, that their stimulus check or whatever got cut from the government, because now they're figuring things out and now they're empowered to actually create and to go forth with and they're having opportunities come up for that carpentry and to create cool things. You know, it was a blessing that thing happened back in 2016, 2017, because it motivated me to then go daily on YouTube to get out of that. But I had to let go of the comfort that I got of somebody else giving me a paycheck. It's a different value system. My values are so concrete now, I could never work for somebody else again. Never. I know too much, and I value my virtues, my value, my identity is around me knowing that I can create and do what I want. It's something else that's in alignment. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because with the nice guy, it was the same thing. The nice guy, I valued other people's validation, other people's approval. And if they would give it to me, then I would feel worthy. Then I started to get a lot of pain with that. People walking on me. People not respecting what I say. And then I had to start drawing boundaries. But then what I learned how to do is I started to value within myself authenticity over everything. So when I would normally have this people pleaser mentality come out, I'd catch myself and I'd ask myself, what is authentic? You know what? It's authentic to tell this person this. It's authentic to express how I really feel. A lot of times the nice guy and the people pleasers, there's a block with being vulnerable, because the idea is if I'm vulnerable with you and if I share with you what I really think and feel, you might reject me. That's why the nice guy will date somebody and not express their true desires or their true intentions because they're afraid of that rejection. When I started to more so step into my own masculine frame, to be inside my body and to be authentic, that's when everything in my life began to change. People began to respect me more. And there is going to be, when you make these shift in values, virtues that you live by, you make this shift, there will be a period of time where the old people that used to treat you a certain way and used to think about you in a certain way, all of a sudden, they're like, Aaron, why are you being this new way? Just go back to the people pleaser nice guy. That's what I'm used to. You're challenging me to think differently about you, and I don't like that. Well, guess what? That's their shit, not yours. You're doing your own work, and that's something to remember. That's their shit. That's your stuff, not mine. And with this whole process, the thing to become aware of with this whole entire process is your sense of identity and values. And for you to attract what you really want to attract in your life, you have to let go of your own sense of identification with the life that you're currently living. So my question to you is, what is your story about love? What is your story about money? What is your story about health? Because whatever that story is, it's on autopilot and it is feeding back to you exactly whatever that is. And if you wonder, what is my story? Just look around. Just look around and you'll get reflections of that. What are your relationships like? What is your relationship with your family like? What is your job situation like? Are you working a job you love or are you working a job you hate? Do you even have a job? You see what I mean? It's sometimes a harsh reality reflection, but when you start seeing these are the beliefs that I have on autopilot. And if I want to create a change, it's not about changing the outside. It's about changing my story, my beliefs, my identity, my virtues, my values on the inside. You have to make a new choice. It really is just about making a new choice. But you have to let go of the safety that you got, the payoffs that you got from the old version of you. For you to attract in more love, more money, and more success, there's something that you must let go of to let that new thing in. It's like cleaning out a closet. I'm studying minimalism right now. I'm studying it. I don't know how much I'm going to bring it in my own life, but I'm going to be letting go of a lot of things that I don't really need. I do like nice, I know it triggers some people, but I blame it on the Taurus in my chart. I have Taurus in my astrology. I like materialistic things. Like I like luxury. Certain things I don't really care. I mean, I do have, I guess, nice cars, but there's this car in this neighborhood that I live in, and the neighborhood I live in isn't like a whole bunch of like the nicest houses. I have a nice house in this neighborhood, but there's some houses that look kind of like they're just very old and kind of run down. But there's this one house that's kind of run down, but in front of it there's a Ferrari, and I remember passing it. It's like he parks it right, or he or she, maybe a she, parks it right in front of the driveway that's really far from the house, so that it's like everyone can see when they're driving on this main road, and it's there every day. And I remember looking at it thinking, that's cool, but I don't value, like that kind of car. There's no reason for it. I mean, I do have a Tesla, but with the Tesla, I value not having to put gas in it, that level of, I guess, identity that comes with like feeling eco-friendly, right? There's a value. We buy cars based on our values, which is kind of funny. Like if your car is very efficient, then you probably value efficiency. Or gas. If you have like a Prius, then you probably are either an environmental person or just you like the efficiency of not having to fill up so much. Or it's interesting, but that's something I've noticed. But I have like a nice house. I like having a nice house. I like having nice things. I like luxury. I like nice experiences. I don't feel guilty with doing that. This is just part of the human experience. It's like, you know, the Dos Equis guy? I imagine a meme with the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world. It's like, I don't, drink beer often, but when I do, it's Dos Equis. Well, I don't incarnate often. I know that sounds like some spiritual ego thing, but it's like we're having a 3D physical experience. So enjoy it, but be aware of your own values. And I value nice houses, so I have a nice house, but I'm learning to let go of things that don't serve. Now, back to the analogy of the whole, imagine you have this closet that's so damn full, you don't have room for anything new. So the key to this is being aware of what can you let go of to allow something new in. So many people are like, I want to attract in love. I want to attract in love. I need to think about it. And I need to feel it. And I need to like put things in twos, because if things are in twos, then subconsciously I'm priming myself for the feng shui of like love and all this stuff. What if you just focused on letting go of the beliefs you're unworthy, letting go of the rejection wound that you might have from childhood, letting go of believing that you're single and that's all you're worthy of, letting go of a past relationship, letting go of attachment, letting go of a label that says I'm single. If you'd focus on just the letting go, that stuff would come in. But you have to let go before it comes in. So the message for today is that letting go is the secret and the key to letting in. It works like magic too. When you let go of outcome, magic can happen. But you have to let go, and you have to make the choice to let go. And the choice, and letting go is really, really easy. We only believe it's hard, and therefore we believe it's hard, so therefore it is hard. One sec, I need to. Basically, the cameras that I have, they only have 30 minutes, like 30-minute thing where I have to reset them after 30 minutes. And these podcasts go longer than 30 minutes. But what was I talking about? So, in general, for letting go, realize you must let go to then let in. And things work like magic when you begin to let go. The more, like I noticed that if I'm attached to the outcome, to how YouTube videos do, to how people respond to them, are you guys liking this video? If you guys like this video, can you please like it? Then what happens is you feel that needy energy, and it blocks the actual results from coming. But when I let go of the outcome, and I don't care whether you like it or not, then there's more freedom in there, right? I was telling my girlfriend yesterday, like when people want me to do something, I normally will have this resistance to doing it. It's just the rebel in me. It's probably because of my ex-stepmom stuff. I don't know. But when I'm allowed to make the choice on my own, I'm much more willing to do it. It's much easier because there's less resistance. So when you let go, you then naturally will start to let in. When I've let go of outcome of YouTube videos doing well, guess what happened? It's like YouTube videos do much better. People resonate with them more because there's less attached energy. Now, letting go is easy. The only reason we believe it's hard is because we've learned that. We believe that there's a lot of safety with our attachments. If you'd stop believing, though, that letting go is hard, it would be easy. Letting go is simply a choice. It's a choice we make with trust in the universe that things will work out better for us if we let go. When I've let go of outcome of things, I can't tell you how much times magic happens. Whether that's with a dynamic of getting manifesting a house, letting go of outcome of things and having, more growth with my business. In my relationship dynamics, I let go of outcome and things, and it's like there's more connection. It's just incredible how powerful this is. But the key is letting go to let in. Letting go of the label, the attachments, the beliefs, the identity, and the old values, and then living by these new values, these new virtues that you decide are who you are. It's an identity shift that you're creating. So that's the episode for today. Let me know what you guys thought of today's episode, today's video. Comment below. Like this video if you liked it, if you want more of these podcasts on the main YouTube channel. And if you just comment below, let me know what you're going to let go of as well. What is one value you're going to let go of, and what is one value you're going to wire in? And comment below. That's a way of accountability. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this. And as always, peace, much love, and namaste.